Thank you, Sierra. I'd ask the clerk to recite the roll call.
Mrs. Duncan?
Here.
Mr. Borowski?
Here.
Mr. Garber?
Here.
Mayor Pedro?
Here.
Mr. Wagner? Mr. Rosick?
Here.
Mr. Bruno?
Here.
I received a message from Councilmember Wayne Wagner, who was unable to be with us tonight, and I move that we excuse him for tonight. I need a second.
Second.
Second, John Rosick. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose. All righty, thank you. Next is the approval of the minutes from our regular council meeting from March 10th, 2023. And you've all had a chance to review the minutes, and I would take a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
So moved from Mr. Borowski. Need a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Rosick.
I will abstain since I was not here.
Okay.
last meeting.
Any more discussion on the minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? And Councilmember Tony Garber has abstained. Okay, next is citizens' comments, and I do have a couple up here. Mr. Dickey, do you want to go first, please? Please state your name and your address.
Mark A. Dickey, 7867 Dana Ray Drive, Waterville, Ohio, 43560.
If I may, Mr. Dickey called me the other day, had some questions, comments about the electrical aggregation program in the city of Waterville. We had a good conversation, and after talking with him, he agreed to come and offer some comments. So the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, council members, for being available to listen. Yeah, I did a little bit of checking into all this. First of all, the aggregation proposal is to move to a new company, Dynegy. We are, I think, we're currently in Harbor. Let me look at my bill. Energy Harbor. Is that the aggregation we are in? Is that correct? I'm not sure. Okay. Because I couldn't find that information other than on my bill, which shows that that's part of my bill. Toledo Edison is our provider of service, and then Energy Harbor is our generation company. They're proposing we go to Dynegy, and I think a lot of people, and I've seen it online, are wondering why we're going to a company that is a higher rate than what we, A, currently have, or B, could possibly have. I've looked at Dynegy's proposal of 9.75 through, I think theirs is only for 1 year, the current proposal. I've also looked at a website that's called Apples to Apples Comparison Chart, and there's a number of companies on here who provide electricity. I don't know if they still call this wheeling or not, where you can purchase your electricity from companies other than the one that you are starting with, Toledo Edison. This has got to have 20 pages of providers, and some of the providers will give you multiple estimates based on how long you want to have your contract for. So, for example, I did check with Energy Harbor. For a 12-month contract, they offer 8.09 cents per kilowatt hour. That's less than what Dynegy is offering at this point. If you go to a 3-year, your cost goes up, not a lot, but it does go up. That is 6.29 cents per kilowatt hour. As an example, I do about 500 kilowatt hours, 650 kilowatt hours a month. If you talk over a year, you might be talking as much as $100, between 2 cents per kilowatt hour for the whole year. And it could be less. You know, it just depends on how much you use, how efficient your house is, and what the cost per kilowatt hour is. So I guess my upfront question is, how did we get to Dynegy with all these other possible companies out there? And I don't, not pointing a finger or blaming or anything, but it seems curious that we couldn't procure a better cost per kilowatt hour by shopping a little bit. Currently, we're in Energy Harbor, and that was a 3-year market. They are at 6.30 cents per kilowatt hour. Of course, that was 3 years ago. Things have changed, certainly. That's pretty much what I wanted to come up here. I was hoping to get an understanding of why we're going with this particular company, considering they are not the cheapest on the books. And even with Dynegy, you can get a 1-year contract, a multiple year contract, a 6-month contract with them for energy usage. I would think with the conglomerate that you're talking about, or the aggregation of all these towns that are listed, Toledo, Maumee, Holland, Northwood, Oregon, Perrysburg, Ottawa, Waterville, Walbridge, that's a lot of customers. Why couldn't we get a better price or a better offer, at least from these companies? I don't know specifically how they work, if they set a price and it doesn't matter if you've got 100,000 customers or 2 million customers, that's their price. I don't know how that part works.
So we, if you're done.
Yeah.
So we'll listen. So later on, our administrator was gonna be addressing that, so now that we're on the floor, why don't we go right to it, John?
Right.
So I'll make this comment, it's not easy, and obviously
No,
you and
there's a lot of them out there.
you and a lot of other folks are looking at it. And then secondly, it's good to do your own due diligence. The city and the cities you identified try
Sure.
to do their best. So John has some research, and let's.
I think the biggest issue here is not exactly how much, but the confusion of what happens if I opt out? What if I don't opt out? I just threw it in the trash. All have repercussions of certain monetary value. So if somehow we could clear that up, or make
Good.
a posting or something that make everybody understand. Because you don't have to go with Dynegy. You can opt out and pick your own company.
Right, right.
So,
So I'm gonna have John go
thank
through
you.
it. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Go ahead, John.
So, yeah, we have had a lot of questions about the aggregation
Hear me out. I've been taking their. Sorry.
renewal, and so currently, our current electric generator is, who generates the power, which is, you know, there's 2 parts to the electric bill. There's the transmission part, there's the generator part. So Energy Harbor is now at 6.3 cents per kilowatt hour, and that's through June 2025 billing period. So that's your May usage. You have your Toledo Edison price to compare. So that's the standard service offer. That's 8.04 cents per kilowatt hour, and that expires in March 31st, 2025. Based on, and so the city is a member of the Northwest Ohio Aggregation Coalition, and there are 15 communities. There's 495,000 people in this aggregation group, and we consume 1.4 billion kilowatt hours annually. So based on our bids, they put out bids, and we got 6 bidders, and the according to our consultant that represents us in this group, They recommended that we go with Dynergy based on their rate of 9.75 cents per kilowatt hour. So it is an increase, but you know, if you go on the Ohio Public Utility Commission's website, there's actually 136 different electric generation providers. So there's different rates. There's you have, you know, rates that vary from 5 cents for 3 months for a fixed term, 9.95 cents, 10 cents. You know, it just depends on what you want to do. So I guess the answer that I have is that, yeah, you could go on to these, you could opt out of this and you could maybe get a better rate from one of those 136 different providers, but they didn't offer the bid, they didn't participate in the bid process. So they, you know, they can take so many customers at the low rate, but it's all different based on the number of people that sign up. So as we're moving forward into the new year, they buy energy at auctions, and there's a wholesale price, there's a capacity cost price, there's a standard service offer rate, which Toledo Edison rate is based on. So based on these auction prices, they're predicting that Toledo Edison's standard service offer is going to be 10 to 10.4 cents per kilowatt hour. So they're thinking that, you know, we lock in a rate for 12 months. The market prices increase, and then we can go back out and get a better rate. So I know that's it. I guess it doesn't answer your question, but to sign up 495,000 people to a lower rate, that was the best rate that we could get based on the bids that we put out, and there were only 6 providers that responded to the bid. And you know, some of the people on the website, the 136 generators, they didn't put in a bid. So I think it's more or less, can you provide the energy at the current rate per kilowatt hour for so many people for a fixed period? Because that's the other thing, it was fixed. So there's a lot of risk in supplying that much electric power to so many people. So I know it is maybe difficult to understand that it is increasing, but it's going to increase across the state of Ohio, and that's based on our market that we're in, and so electric rates are going to go up all across Ohio, and again, that's based on auction prices that were received. So there's an increase coming, and I guess the recommendation was for our group, the size of our group, lock it in for 12 months, not 24 or 36, and we can maybe prices will go down, and we can renew at a lower rate in, you know, more than 12 months. So that's but you are right. There's some providers out there that have a lower rate, but a lot of it is you know, it's not a fixed rate. It's a 3-month rate or a 9-month rate. And they vary all over the place. So people can opt out. You can opt out, and there's no early termination fee. There's no penalty to opt out of this. And then if you do go out and you do use either Toledo Edison, so if you opt out, you're defaulted back to Toledo Edison, which would be 10 to 10.4 cents per kilowatt hour. Or if you go with another provider, and they let you out of a contract that you entered into, you can come back to our aggregation pool at no termination penalty or anything like that. So, you know, when I was a kid, I had to be quiet when I watched the Anderson's farm report, because my grandparents were selling the grain or the corn or the soybeans, and the prices always were very, you know, fluctuated every day. And so it's kind of the same thing with electricity. It depending on what day it is, but the market is going to go up. And Toledo Edison, although they have their price to compare, it's a variable rate. If you go on the Ohio Public Utilities Commission's website, you'll see it changed 6 times last year. It went from 8 cents up to 11 cents. So if you default back to that, you're gonna be in a variable rate that'll fluctuate over the 12-month period, so.
Do you think there's anything we can do to make it, it's pretty simple in the letter, but a lot of people are still confused. I see it online, I see it in the neighborhood sites and things like that. What do I don't know what the answer is, but
So-
maybe there's something.
So maybe, obviously tonight, a good dialogue is a starting point, or at least some of it. And it's one of those things where we all have to become educated. You took the time to learn it, and I know I've got some calls myself. I think the other thing is, we have a consultant, this consortium. They gave us their best advice. So, but people can do what they want, but I guess the thought process is, this is probably gonna be the best for now. And then maybe we can get something on our website to that effect, so folks know that. But having guys like you and people that have called me, it makes sense to have this dialogue. But I'll open it up to council if you've got any comments. We'll start with Mary Duncan.
Well, I would say, Karen, can you,
She's writing
put it in
away.
put it in the mirror as plainly as you can so that we can refer to it and that will help people understand. That would be very helpful for us.
That's like straight at it, man. That's,
Yeah.
John?
Yeah, of course, I have a couple comments. I think it is very confusing, so I'm glad you brought it up, Mark. It's really, the letter actually reminded me of the letters I get to renew my warranty on my car, or get a homeowner's. It really didn't look that official, truthfully, the letter. So I think a lot of people do probably ignore it, because it doesn't really look like it means anything, other than a sales pitch. So I think that's important. So what happens if people don't do anything? They get the letter and they don't respond at all?
They're enrolled in the aggregation pool, and they can opt out at any time that they want to. They can opt out before, on the letter, there's 3 things you can do. There's a website, there's, I think there's a fax and then a phone call. You can say, I wanna opt out of this, and they'll take you out. You can enroll in the, non-aggregation, list at the state of Ohio, where you're always gonna have the, standard, rate from Standard Service offer rate from Toledo Edison. They won't change you, you'll just get you'll be like that until you just call the state or notify the state that you wanna go back in an aggregation program. So it's like a don't aggregate me list that you can sign up
So
for.
you're in automatically? In other words, if you don't do anything, you're in this
Right.
Dynegy program?
Right, and when we put this out to the voters, I think it was in 2000 or something, that was on the ballot, so the voters approved, that you would be opted in unless you opted out.
Right.
So you can also opt in for a 25% green energy, if you wanna do that, but your rate is 9.89% instead of 9.75% for 12 months.
So I don't have to do anything?
No?
I'm in.
Unless you wanna, you wanna play the market,
I can see
where it's at
playing the market.
Anything else, John?
That's it.
Tony?
Nothing.
Todd?
No, Mark, thanks for bringing that up. I was going to bring it up tonight. I did have citizens reach out to me, and I think the simplest way is you don't do anything. City of Waterville is saving you money, but you do have people that want to dig into the weeds and save a little bit more, and they offer the apples to apples. So yeah, if you think you could save a little bit more, get on apples to apples, and you might be able to save, case in point, a couple cents per kilowatt hour. So, but
2 cents is 150 for me,
yes.
$156 a year.
Yes. But a lot of people don't have the time to do that, so I guess what I'm saying is it's great that the city of Waterville does get into this program. Like me and many people I know, I wouldn't even look, I pay my bills online, I get online, pay it, don't even look at anything. And now it's nice to know that I don't have to do anything and I'm saving a little bit of money, so, but could be saving more, but I also could click coupons and save more at Kroger, right? But yeah, thank you, Mark. Yeah, appreciate your time.
Anthony?
All good.
Oh, good. All righty. We will move on to our next citizen's comment, and that's Mr. Dave Weber. Dave? Want to go to the, go ahead.
Some handouts to save paper, I just put them on slips so you can pass it around. Last time I spoke, I gave you an update, and there was a further update, and that's we had a meeting with ODOT and State Historic Preservation Office, a virtual meeting, and our group, we have a small grassroots citizens group, and we proposed 3 alternatives that are pennies on the dollar. ODOT is now gung-ho. They're basically, they have the blinders on. They're gonna spend $4.1 million and totally demo the bridge behind me here, right down to the bedrock. So at the meeting, we asked for their plan. They never gave us a plan, schedule, or anything. So we did get a copy of the plan, and that's what it is. It's basically, they're doing it in 2 steps. First, from the Wood County side, they're going to lay down a causeway of stone on each side of the bridge, a thick layer of stone halfway out to the river. And then they're going to knock down that half and drag all the concrete back across. And then they're going to take all the stone out and truck it around the bend and do the same thing in the other direction. They'll start on the Waterville north side, create 2 causeways, knock the bridge down, drag the concrete out, and then drag the gravel out. It's one hellishly expensive operation. That's hence the $4.1 million. I think it's idiocy, but that's my personal opinion. I think it's the opinion of our group too. So basically, we do still have a few avenues available to us. We're going to be meeting tomorrow, but one critical thing is to gain more time. And at the meeting, they said, even at this late date, if an entity stepped forward, they would hand over the bridge to them. Basically, if you remember, there was one citizen that offered to pay $6,000 for the whole thing. Well, they're to the point where if Waterville stepped forward, they would hand it over effectively for free. So our group, one of the ideas our group came up with is, why not just lease it month by month to Waterville? So if it's a matter of money, I will personally pay you the $12 a year to lease this bridge, so you don't have to outlay any money, except there is a question of liability insurance. I'm not sure if Waterville is self-insured or not, but I assume there would be a cost for liability insurance. I took a look at the overhead views last night, and I really have to get out there and under it. But on the Waterville side, the bridge isn't that bad of a shape. It doesn't look much different than this for the first 2 spans. It's just the spans when you get out toward the middle of the bridge where they're collapsing. So if Waterville sent a letter this week, preferably tomorrow, but in talking to Tim, he didn't think you'd be able to decide on it now, but I would really love it if you could decide on it now. What I'm proposing is send a letter to ODOT saying we will lease your bridge for $1 a month, and then we'll also put up signage to make it safe. Because basically the concept is that if this is in pretty good shape here, and there isn't much buckling going on of the spandrels always buckle where it's tall, here. So if there isn't, from the overhead view, it doesn't look like there's much of any buckling going on in the first span. So if we put up signage that basically directed the Maumee River Water Trail to go under that, and then put signs on everything else that said, beware, keep away, don't go here, go to the North Bank Arch, I think that would make it reasonably low-cost liability, but I can't really say what that would be. You have to protect the kayakers, canoers, and wading fishermen. And then for the people that want to climb up top, you just have to put up a lot of stuff, barbed wire and such. You know, just keep the teenagers off of there. So that's what I'm proposing. I would love it to send a letter. If you do send a letter, we're just about out of time. So if you could send it by FedEx, that would be great. Because basically, the next council meeting after this is on the 14th. ODOT is going to send out for sealed bids on the 10th, and that's putting contractors. It takes engineering effort to make up an estimate, and it's really not fair to the contractors for them to get a bid, a packet, for them to do a bid, and then a few days later they say, you know, we don't want the bid. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you, Dave. I'd like to invite the council to make some comments. A few of us have been to some of the meetings that Dave has hosted and some others, and like I've said before, ODOT is doing everything that it is required to do. They've not done anything that we didn't expect. They've kept us informed. But the committee, which Dave has been involved in, and I've been involved in it as well, has looked at different angles. So we are running out of time, but there's still been some effort going forward. So I'll open it up to council to make some comments, and we'll start with Vice Mayor Mary Duncan.
No comment.
No comment? John Rosick?
April 10th, that's when the proposal for bidding will go out to, or will they just advertise it, or will they actually communicate directly? Do you know how they're going to?
Well, they advertised, okay, they told us verbally at the meeting, April 10th. And then if you go to the website, it says April 10th. So I assume that April 10th kind of gives a notice to area contractors.
That's
And then the contractors contact them. So I suspect that on April 10th, whoever's gotten in touch with them, they'll send it to them. And maybe a few others that they have dealt with in the past. And, but it's April 10th, it goes out.
April 10th goes to prospective bidders, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
The sealed bid process.
And then they'll have a period of time to submit bids.
They didn't tell us the time, or did they? They did say they wanted to get started by June. So I assume then about a month to evaluate, or to gather and evaluate, and then kick off, and then we start in June.
Do we know what the bid deadline is? Do we know what the
I'm sorry,
Do we know what the deadline is to submit bids?
I don't know, but they want to start in June. They have a very limited time, actually. They want to get everything done for June, and they can only do it over the winter. They can't do it other times. So basically, they only have the fall and winter, and they want to be done like March, April timeframe. To me, I don't see how they could possibly do it in that time, but in any case, that's their plan.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
Anthony? Tony? Todd?
Hey, Dave, do we know if we were to lease it, would the future cost of the demo of the bridge be on Waterville? Like, is it like like, we don't want you to demo it now, so we lease it. Now we have to take on that expense.
That's a good question. I don't know. We didn't ask that question. In other words, you're saying if Waterville leases for a year, and then they say, okay, we don't want to lease it anymore, you can demo it now, would they still have the federal funds? And I don't know the answer to that question. We could ask them.
Yeah, I guess my concern is, and I'm not saying a year, but maybe 10 years or 15, 20 years from now, if there's a lot of deterioration, you know, maybe there's something inside the bridge that is not visible to us, and then we notice it's starting to peel or something, and we have a choice to repair or demo, will we take on that liability of that demo cost? So if you could find that out, that would be great. And then, any idea what the cost of liability insurance is annually? Okay.
No, there's one in our group that's looking into it, but so far, I don't have a hard number to give you.
Okay, okay. Thanks, Dave, for everything you're doing.
Anthony Bruno?
Todd covered my questions.
Okay. So, this is not easy. This is why you get elected, to take all this information. And the committee that has been looking at this, the most recent committee, I think has done a good job. They've asked a lot of questions. At the same time, ODOT is following their guidelines. There are efforts to reach federal authorities, Congress folks, state legislators, and the governor. So rest assured, I guess behind the scenes there are other efforts underway. But I know Dave and I talked earlier today and just now tonight, our law director had not even had a chance to even think about what a lease would look like. So we will be looking at that, at least to give our law director a chance to respond. Okay, we will move on from citizens' comments. And next is staff reports, and we will start with our administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. Council has a copy of my report. I wanted to mention a couple things in my report. The city did receive notice that we received a grant of $166,972 from the Ohio Public Works Commission for the Canal Road paving improvement project. So we would repave Canal Road from North Street to the trail. We'd be widening the road, the entire road, about 2 feet. And then we'll be adding a 2-foot berm on each side, a stone berm, and you have delivery trucks, mail trucks, things like that. So the berm would give them a little extra room to do what they need to do. So the idea is we would bid this out in the fall of 2025, and then we'd have construction in the spring of 2026. The estimated cost for the project is $338,000. Interestingly, there's about 2,800 cars a day go through the Canal Road Village Parkway intersection. So
Yes,
that's
I can vouch for that.
yeah. So that's a fairly good number there. So we would this would help with that. Next thing I wanted to mention is the city did receive notice that we are again a Tree City USA. So for 2024, and so this will be our 29th year that the city has received the designation as a Tree City. We also received the Growth Award for 2024 from the Arbor Day Foundation, and that is demonstrates that the city, provides a higher level of tree care and community engagement from our prior year. So the city will have receive this award in Bowling Green this year, April 16th, and that's from 9 a.m. to 2:30. And our tree commission does a great job with that. So that's through their efforts. I mentioned the issues about the aggregation and electric aggregation renewal, and the city did receive a number of calls, so we did answer questions of residents. And on the next electric bill, I think you're going to notice that the cost to compare, which is the standard service offer from Toledo Edison, is going to go up, and the estimate is from 10 to 10.4 cents there. And then I know we've talked about this for a while, but the city has been working on a downtown redevelopment district tax incentive program, and so council passed that. It was sent to Lucas County. The Lucas County auditor and treasurer approved that, and they send that down to the Ohio Department of of Taxation. So that's where it currently is. It's at the Ohio Department of Taxation, Division of Tax Equalization for final approval. So once that's approved, that'll come back to the city. The auditor will set up the program and the payments. And again, I think I mentioned this at prior meetings. It'll function similar to our TIF, and that's our 330 fund. So every twice a year, we should get settlements for that program. And I know the mayor and I and Councilman Borowski were at the veterinarian clinic that opened on Farnsworth, and they were interested in taking advantage of this program. So it's something that we're going to work at and develop when we get those funds.
Council, questions for the administrator? I have a few, but I'll go down to Vice Mayor Duncan.
No question?
John Rosick.
Yeah, John, on the Canal Road, I know that in the past, the residents were not too excited about improving the road. Maybe the chief could express an opinion, but it does need to be improved. I mean, it's in pretty bad shape, really, Canal Road. But I'm a little concerned that, Canal Road is a different feeling than Village Parkway or Wilkshire. It's more like a country lane than it is a residential street. And if it's too smooth, too nice, it might turn into a racetrack. So,
I heard that some of the residents, well, why do we want to improve it? It slows people down. And so, and I guess that's the idea. We didn't want to put sidewalks in. We didn't want to widen it too much, but we want to straighten it out. And then we want to make sure there are no ruts on the side of the right-of-way where people pull off. And, sometimes school buses come down and you got to get out of the way. So try to keep that feel there.
I agree with all that.
And not, there's some large trees. It would cost a fortune to move the Edison poles out of the way, so we wouldn't want to do that either. So yeah, we've heard that, and some of the residents have made that clear. And
how will we control the speed?
Well, it's not a curbed road, so I wouldn't recommend we put in speed bumps because people drive around the speed bumps. But not widening it to a 12 lane, each lane 12-foot lane. I think that it's going to be straighter and a little safer, but it's not going to be. I think you'll still have that same feeling of the old road. It's just going to be. It will be smoother. I guess that is something we got to think about. I guess.
I'm all for smooth.
Okay.
All right, thanks, John.
Joe Garber?
Nothing, sir.
Todd.
All good?
All good.
So just a couple things. You've touched on the ones that number 13 on your report is music to my ears, and that is improvements to our roads. So I know we'll touch on that later tonight in our agenda. So thanks for that. And the shared use path. And then on the downtown redevelopment district, number 18, this is something that has been on the books for a while. I think it's going to trigger some more activity in our downtown and our other areas of our districts. But I know that I've been getting some calls on one of the businesses downtown, the former, well, I guess it's an old Sunoco gas station. Is there any updates on what's transpiring there?
No, I don't have any update there.
Okay, all right. Alrighty, we will move on to our law director.
No report this evening, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And John, do you want to give the finance report, please?
Thank you, Mayor. Council has a copy of the RETA income tax report for February 2025. For February 2025, the city collected $472,809, and that was $62,319 less than we collected in February of 24. Year to date, the city's collected $947,104, and that is $62,078 more year to date than we collected in 2024. So kind of an interesting dynamic there. On page 3, if you look at our tax distribution by classification. We had withholders, individuals, net profit. So the area where there's, appears to be the decline for this month is in the net profit tax, which a company would pay, and I guess if they don't have a profit or they defer something, paying their tax based on some investment or something like that. But so that figure is the one that's declined. So, and again, you know, the RETA tax varies from month to month, but we are still ahead of where we were last year by roughly $62,000.
Council questions? All right, we'll move on to our treasurer. I took a phone call from Steve Schultz late last week. He's not able to be with us tonight, so and he was not going to have a report, so we will move on to our police chief.
Evening, Mayor and Council. You should have a copy of my report. I have a couple things to add. Reminder that Safety City is June 23rd through the 27th, with morning and afternoon sessions still available. And National Prescription Drug Take Back Day is Saturday, April 26th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And we will be at our back garage behind the police department collecting. And that's all I have.
Council, questions for Joe? Joe, it's a little chilly out there yet, but the sun will be shining. What's the schedule for the bicycle patrol and also golf cart patrol?
Chief Myers housing the bikes. We have to probably take them over to get tuned up. And the golf cart's ready to go. Also, Mr. Rosick, tomorrow I'm going to be ordering the new speed trailer and
great.
a couple mobile speed devices too, so we can get them up on Canal once they're done.
Good.
Thank you.
Alrighty, we will move on to our fire chief.
Evening, Mayor and Council. You have a copy of my report as well. I have only a couple things to add. So one, we participated in the food truck roundup this year. We went ahead and went there. There were 91 trucks overall inspected. Waterville permitted 39 of those 91. So with that being said, we do have permits on all the trucks that has the Waterville logo on it, like what I'm wearing on my sleeve. So if you see a truck operating without one of those, please let us know. They've had 2 weeks and 5 different chances to get their truck to pass, so please let us know. Some don't have health department certificates and things that are necessary, so make sure that you let us know. They do have opportunity to get a sticker still. They can, correct their violations and still get a sticker if they need to. We also started a new program with that called iRoll, so it connects all of Northwest Ohio, Wood County, Lucas all together, so we can see other fire departments when we inspect, so we can see what's going on with all the food trucks. So we are now completely connected. The only other thing I was going to say was to control speed on Canal Road. We can make it a stone road, that would be fine. That's it.
Questions for the chief?
No personal preference there.
No, I mean, I didn't get the fire hydrant in front of my house. It went to my neighbors, so I'm good with stone.
Alrighty, thank you. Next, our Public Works Director.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. You have a copy of my report. I don't have much, obviously with the warmer weather. Ice rinks down. And other than that, you have the updated and hopefully final salt usage for the year. And that's what I have for tonight.
That's some positive thinking.
Yeah.
Very positive.
Council, questions for?
No?
Alrighty, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, communications from council members. We'll start with Vice Mayor Duncan.
I I don't have anything to report this evening. Thank you.
Mary got a new seat tonight. She's down to the left. John Rosick.
No report, Mayor, thanks.
Anthony?
Nothing, sir.
Nothing?
No report.
All right, I'm gonna break the record here or whatever. So a couple things. I attended the annual Toledo Lucas County Health Department meeting last week, and well attended. I guess the takeaway, as you probably know, citizens know, the various municipalities contribute to the funding of that organization, which was set up years and years ago. Happy to say that the next year they're not going to be raising those fees. They're going to hold them. They also have been looking for a while at a different facility, and it's embarrassing. And I mean, it's embarrassing, the building that they're in, and it's the health department. So there was some conversation about how they can make some changes, so look for some more announcements on that going forward. I also, I mentioned earlier about our downtown and different parts of our city that, you know, it's like the front door to our community, and we're trying to improve on those things. I know when that downtown redevelopment program gets up and running, that'll be a big boost. I know Terry's here. I think I'm going to ask her to step to the podium and give us a little update on the Easter egg activity, because I don't want to miss anything.
Do you want me to state my name?
Yes.
Yes.
Terry Masucci, 1101 Waterville, Monclova Road, Waterville, Ohio. It's April 12th. It's going to start at 10 o'clock. Some new things this year. We'll have 3 local bakers coming in. I have no notes. So I can't remember their names. Julia's Sweets, Sugared and Spun, and Saucy Bites will be the 3 that will come in there. We'll have, thanks to the Waterville Area Chamber, we're going to have a surprise egg in each of the age groups. Of course, the Easter Bunny's going to be there. What else is new? We'll have hot chocolate, and again, recycling the eggs for an ice cream coupon from Sweet Retreats.
Donuts.
Oh, free donuts. Can't
I'm all
forget
about the
that.
donuts.
Can't forget that. And that's thanks to RCO Law and to Third Street Cigar for the donuts this year. There's going to be some raffling baskets also there, more for the grown-ups and the kids. The scavenger hunt has started. That started Friday. So there's 20 businesses out there with eggs in the window with a number on it. They have to match the clue that's on the sheet, which you can pick up at the library in the lobby, which is open 24/7, or I put on different multiple social media sites, including Meanwhile in Waterville, Ohio, and Anthony Wayne Community, and the free site that's in the Waterville, Monclova area. So they can print one out there also. Once they turn those in, they'll get, you know, they find the 20 answers. Big hint for the adults, don't tell the kids, but the answers are at the bottom of the sheet if you have a tough time.
What's the final day for that?
It will be April 11th at 5 o'clock, because the library closes at 5:30, so I'm going to get there Friday at 5, pick those up, and then 5 names will be drawn out of everybody that played for 5 surprise gifts for them. Everybody that does play the scavenger hunt will get a treat. The library has those, and they will be in contact with me as if they run low or anything like that.
Sure.
Any other questions?
Terry, is there a place online where parents can find the information?
It can be found on the Anthony Wayne Facebook group, Meanwhile in Waterville, Ohio. The fire department has the Easter egg hunt information. If they want to share the scavenger hunt, that's fine. And I haven't checked the police, if one or the other. Do you have the Easter egg hunt I know one of you do. You do, okay. Okay, and I believe the sign by the Parade Boulevard is not working correctly. They're working to fix that, so it can't be announced on there at this time. All I can tell you is tell your neighbors, tell your friends. I am posting things. I have been around town to different places, pinning it on anybody that has a bulletin board. I haven't finished doing that, but it's, so accepting volunteers for that one. Show of hands.
Thank you for your hard work,
Yeah,
Terry.
thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much.
Thanks.
Alrighty, and then lastly, I know John reported on this, but, you know, our Chamber of Commerce, among many other groups in town, the Rotary, Rock the Block, with the Rotary, or excuse me, with the Chamber of Commerce, they've already been meeting to get things set up, so we got a lot of activities for our summer, and also our art and the program in the Conrad Park are already underway. Okay, we will move on to new business, or old business, there's none. Our new business is Resolution 1325, a resolution authorizing the municipal administrator to award a contract to Henry W. Bergman, Inc. for the 2025 city paving program. John?
Thank you, Mayor. This resolution would authorize a contract with Henry W. Bergman of Genoa, Ohio for the 2025 city paving program. This year we're resurfacing Cedar Lane from Michigan to Freedom Lane, the alley that runs north and south between Michigan Avenue and Farnsworth Road, the fire station parking lot, and Conrad Park parking lot. And we're adding 26 additional parking spaces at Conrad Park. The alley project, we're also, it'll essentially be a complete rebuild of the roadway surface and a new storm sewer there. We're also making storm sewer repairs in the intersection of Maple and Cedar Lanes. As we do every year, we apply a pavement rejuvenating agent to the roads that we paved the year before, kind of sealing them up and preventative maintenance activity. So that would be Freedom Lane between Cedar and Sycamore Lanes, Lexington Avenue, and then the alley between Farnsworth Road and Mechanic behind the municipal building. And then in the park and rec budget, we had sealing of our shared use paths that are in Prairie Trail, Conrad, Waterworks, Memorial, and Bear Parks. And so that is also included in this project. The city received 5 competitive bids, and Henry W. Bergman was the low bid at $513,839.90. The contractor has done work for us in the past, and they were the low bidder. So we would recommend that we award the contract to Henry W. Bergman, Inc. The city engineer has provided his recommendation. Out of the 5 bids, you'll notice it says Bergman corrected, so they made a $88.60 error, so that's why that says that. So it was $88.60 less than what's in the engineer's letter, but that was I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we always check the bids, and if the bids are good, then we provide a recommendation to council after the bid opening, and that was on March 19th, 2025.
Okay, I need a motion to accept Resolution 1325.
So moved.
Oh,
It's okay.
Mary Duncan moved, and
Second.
I think John Rozak was going to second.
I would.
He did. It's been moved and seconded. Any more conversation?
I
Mary?
had a question. So John, there's 2 alleys between Farnsworth Road and one is closest to Ohio, and then there's another one on the other side of a couple of homes. Are you talking about the one closest to
Right,
Ohio?
right, and
That was the question I had.
right, and I know that's the alley that council was interested in paving, and so since that's going to cause some disruption with people who have garages on the alleys, we will have a meeting. We'll have a public meeting. People can come in. The city engineer will be here, Mr. Binkley will be there as well to answer questions about what the project entails, and then a plan that, you know, they'll have to park on Pennsylvania or something like that while we resurface the alley. All the existing driveway approaches, if they're concrete, they'll be put back in concrete. If they're asphalt, they'll be put back in asphalt. So trimming some bushes, and I think we have some fences that we have to move back. But those questions we want to answer, and if, you know, if people don't come to the meeting, well, then I guess they don't have any questions. But that's the idea, is that, you know, we'll send a letter and we'll notify the residents on the alley that, hey, this is, it's like a question and answer type of thing, and the plans will be there, so they can look at the plans, and if they have questions in regards to their specific property, they can ask those questions.
Great, thank you.
John, at Cedar Maple, you touched on redoing some sewer work there. Is that also getting repaved? It's in really bad shape.
Yes, yes.
Perfect, thank you.
The basins on that
Yes.
corner are in bad shape, and they're shallow, and so we're redoing those.
Perfect, thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
I would just note, Mayor, that this is about twice what we usually budget for road
Yeah.
maintenance and repairs, and it's just a continuation of all the good work we do with our
Are you
streets.
suggesting we should increase it, John?
Well, you'd be happy if we did that. No, I think it's great. I mean, we do maintain our streets very well, so it's excellent. Thanks, John.
Alrighty, it's been moved and seconded for resolution 1325. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Alrighty, we have, next on our agenda, other information or unscheduled business. I know of one, and I would let Mr. Anthony Garver, the
Yes.
floor is yours.
I will be stepping down from council in the very near future, as I will not meet the residency requirements. I am moving closer to be near my daughter.
And so Tony did explain to me some changes, and this is the time he wanted to make the announcement. He's not prepared, I'll let him speak for himself, but he's not ready to say when he's going to retire, or from council, but I thought it'd be best if we have this conversation. So Tony, thank you for your time.
Sure.
You're not off the hook yet. We got some meetings for you to go to yet.
It's not that easy, Tony. Just not that easy to, just remove yourself from council.
I understand.
Yeah, we all get to vote on this, right?
So thank you, and we'll be talking to Tony about his future plans. Any other unfinished business? I need yes. You certainly may.
I'm sorry, I forgot about this. This just happened also at the Easter egg hunt on April 12th. We're going to have a couple mini horses there from Paws and Hooves. They are trained to be around the kids. They travel to nursing homes and different events like that. So I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that.
Good.
Thanks.
Thank you. Alrighty, seeing no other business at hand, need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved, Councilman Borowski, need a second?
Second?
Second, Anthony Bruno. All those in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.